it's really can I call it a meditation, the piece?
No, it's a spiritual journey in 800 words is what it is.
No, but it's a meditation on, the spiritual life competing with the material life. I mean, more or less.
And trying to look for, we talk so much on MarketWatch.
There we go. They even gave you your own graphic there.
That's right. I ordered that up, and that was, Jesus actually was on the trading floor, and that is, no, Terrence Horan, our excellent graphic designer, came up with that for me. But, we are constantly bombarded, and it could just be me, but it seems like we've been hearing a lot about religious values, Christian values, and money a lot recently, about wealth, what to do with wealth.
It's because of the wealth inequality, a lot of your Occupy Wall Street.
Right, and on the flip side, there's some conservatives saying, you know what, the best thing for the poor to be is poor so they can learn how to become rich.
Yeah, did anybody say that? I'm curious. But this is Paul Ryan and the Catholic values. The guys at Georgetown wrote a letter. So people are throwing, when political campaigns get started, people love to drag in religion into it as well.
Right. So what I tried to do, Evan, was I wanted to go to the source, just look in the Bible and see what it had to say about money, about wealth.
You looked at the New Testament. I noted that.
No, I looked at both.
But all the quotes in your piece were from the New Testament.
Were they? Well,
there's the book of Matthew.
Okay, this is a very famous one, of course. This is the note: you can't serve two masters. You cannot serve God and wealth, because you'll end up loving one and hating the other. And this is the one that we all know. And yet there are a lot of people who have sort of thrown this thing out the window and said, hey, you know what, you can be wealthy and glorify God. In fact, I quote someone in the piece who says basically that becoming wealthy and being showy with your wealth is a glorification of
by the way,
God.
that goes way back, and I'm not saying it's just. I think you mentioned Joel Osteen in your piece. Is that the
I'm
one
not pretending that any of this is
no. But all I'm saying is Max Weber, a number of years ago, last century, I think, wrote a very famous book. It was called The Protestant Work Ethic and the Spirit of Capitalism, which was all about the Calvinist and Puritan tradition, which was hard work and making money, although I don't think he used the term making money, was the best way towards salvation and to serving God. So this isn't just, read the New Testament, Jesus is an anti-capitalism.
No.
There were many people who followed Jesus' teachings who actually believed in capitalism.
Well, the initial thing that as I started this piece, I said, all right, Jesus was a carpenter. Well, Jesus was a capitalist. I mean, this is, someone who had a trade as well as anything else. And if you look at my piece, you'll see that I discussed a little bit about being lazy.
Right here, I think we got another.
And we have another one. Oh, this is from Proverbs.
Yeah.
He who oppresses the.
Watch out, 1%.
This really struck me because this one made me think of banking more than anything. He who oppresses the poor to make more for himself, who gives to the rich, will only come to poverty. And the one thing about all these Bible verses is that they seem to be very tailored towards money and wealth. And they are to some degree, but it's also about entering the kingdom of heaven in the end.
The salvation angle.
So they have these double meanings about how you should live your life and what real wealth is about, which I think is part of the poetry of Scripture. And also you get a life lesson in there. But it's also, at the same time, as you can tell, you can very easily bend these things to your own.
It's like what people do on Wall Street with the numbers, which is you can make the numbers say anything you want them to do, just as I'm sure you can take the Bible and make it say whatever you want it to justify where you come out at the end of the day.
Right.
Final question for you. Do you think that bringing up the Bible or kind of religion in the light of a lot of these we call economic discussions or political discussions, do you think any good can come from that, or is it basically religion just ends up as a tool in the he said she said?
I think it's more of the latter than anything else. I mean, you see people using religion to sort of further their sort of political ideas and their own self-interest, and I think it gets very dangerous. And I think people should go to church or the temple and take what they can from there and put it to work in their own lives, and not necessarily take it out and throw it out there and preach with it.
Okay, final question.
Final.
Well, what would Jesus trade? Do you think he'd move to the ETFs? Do you think he'd be an ETF kind of guy, or do you think he would go into the options pits? Where do you think he would prefer to be?
Well, I think some of these high-frequency traders could actually think faster than God. So I think he would stick to long-term value investing.
David Weidner,
Yeah.
check out his interesting piece on MarketWatch.